So since I'll be watching quite a bit of anime moving forward, I decided to update my anime list. I haven't touched that list since I first made it back in 2018, and I was curious to see what it would look like after I updated it to where I am now. If you want to check out what that list looks like, feel free to check it out in the description below. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about anime that I forgot about until I updated my anime list, and let's just get right into it. World End is a story where humans were driven to extinction by beasts, and the remaining races were driven to live their lives on floating islands. The anime follows Willem as he learns the dark secrets of how survival on these islands is made possible. I found this anime after browsing the seinen category on Crunchyroll for some time, and I was intrigued by its long name, World End. What do you do at the end of the world? Are you busy? Will you save us? And while it has been some time since I've last seen this anime, the one thing that stuck with me from it is its opening scenes. On top of showing our protagonists in action and hinting toward a divisive socio-political climate, World End immediately hits you with the memorable world-building montage set to an enchanting rendition of Scarborough Fair. The first 10 minutes of the first episode really nail the dark fantasy vibe, and while I can't confidently recommend the show in its entirety until I rewatch it, I do at least recommend watching the first 10 minutes because of how powerful it still is. Byrain is set in a world of puzzles, where people are separated into two categories. There are the givers who create the puzzles, and the solvers who solve them. Of course, the puzzles that drive the narrative are life-threatening, and our puzzle-solving protagonist and crew set out to solve them and save the world. I started watching this show because I was into Samurai Sudoku at the time, and I think it was my own affinity for solving puzzles that made me finish it despite how average the show was. Because apart from the puzzle-solving aspects and the cool naming conventions for the main characters, Byrain doesn't offer much else that you wouldn't find in other shonen anime that are more well-rounded. That said, a lot of the puzzles were cool, Rook Banjo Crossfield has one of the coolest names in the game, and the show tickled my fancy back when I was getting into anime, so it definitely deserves a mention here. Aho Girl is a show that I dropped halfway through the season, and I'm including it here because I completely forgot it existed. The show follows high school girl Yoshiko and her exceptionally stupid antics, and her childhood friend Akun, who's mostly there to get annoyed and attempt to set her straight. Like Surezure Children, I also found Aho Girl trending on my Instagram Explore page. It also had 12-minute episodes, and it was airing in the same season, so I thought, why not? And I found my answer halfway through the season. Basically, the beats felt too forced and dependent on finding dumb antics funny regardless if they were clever, and honestly, I don't want to talk too much more about it. Five centimeters per second is likely the most recognizable name on this list, and I still forgot about it anyway. It is a series of short stories directed by Makoto Shinkai, predating his more popular film Your Name by almost 10 years. Simply put, the story follows a young boy and a young girl as they learn how to cope with life going against their ideal vision. The film comes off not as a romantic comedy or a romance, but a pure, true-to-form slice-of-life story where we observe the main characters as they grow up and, inevitably, let go. As a result, 5 centimeters per second isn't very flashy and could understandably come off as boring, but it is still an aesthetically pleasing experience, and a lot of meaningful insight can be interpreted from that which is not explicitly said in this film. And those are 5 anime that I forgot about until I updated my anime list. I realize I didn't have much to say about any of these entries, and that's because these aren't recommendations like the ones I mentioned in my previous videos. If anything, I just thought it would be cool to bring these shows up, and it also gives some insight into my early days of anime. And now here I am 3 to 4 years later, getting ready to add some absolute bangers to my repertoire. So if you'd like to stick around for that, please hit the subscribe button down below. Doing so will also help me in my race against Nico Floflo to 100 subscribers, and I will see you in the next video.